Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Question of the morning. When will BYU and Utah lose their first games? The old cliche, everybody's undefeated right now, everybody's happy. That is bound to change, but when? Jared with the dream scenario. It'd be cool if either one of them, their first loss was when they played the other one. That would make for an awesome game.
That'd be 2 top 10 teams.
Sitting there at 8-0 versus 8-0, and given that they started 15-21 in the coaches' preseason poll, your top 10 is probably on the low end, but that's the round number we all go to, right? Could be number 5 versus number 8. Number 3 versus number 6. How good could it get? That'd be pretty good. Aren't that many teams that make it to 8-0. They'd with where they're starting 8-0, they'd be up there.
Yeah, the playoff committee would have their ranking out by then, and I don't think they want to rank them that high because then they don't have to worry about giving the Big 12 a second bid if teams that high. So I wouldn't see top 5. But BYU has the opportunity, certainly because of Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is going to be highly ranked most of the season unless they really fall off, and I don't see it. So getting a win at Notre Dame at home would just be one of the better wins the program has ever had, all things considered this year. Utah doesn't really have that marquee win, but they will have opportunities to get them in November. And this game is the first game of November. So I think that they would actually benefit. If they're looking for an at-large berth, they would benefit from BYU's success and then beating BYU.
I could put a poll question here. I suspect Notre Dame will be the prevailing answer for when the Cougars get their first loss. There are some games before that could be tricky. They've got to go to TCU. We've talked about the Arizona opener, so it could come before Notre Dame.
I think
most people go to Notre Dame.
Tricky.
Though, okay, yeah, that's 3, and the others going to Kansas late in the year. The Utah game, obviously.
Well, I think half leading up to that game. I don't count the Utah Tech game. So they play 6 games before then. That's a scrimmage.
Well, Notre Dame is game 6, so it's 5 before then. Right. And you're right about Tech in the scrimmage. So the other 4, you look at 2 of those 4 as tricky.
Yeah.
You say half, yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Arizona and at TCU.
Why wouldn't you?
So you want to pick them for the first loss against Arizona or TCU?
That very well could happen.
It very well could, but what do you want to pick?
Well, what's the difference what you pick?
Well, that's the question. I mean, there is no difference. We're just killing time in August waiting for a game.
They could lose both of those games.
They could.
I mean, predictions for me are just that if you do it in August. You know, when the season is underway, you have a much better feel. Now, the Arizona game is still way too early to be looking at that. And what do you got, Schedule Boy? What are you looking up now?
I put up the poll question.
So, yes, they could lose 2 games. Gosh, if I'm the coaches, yeah, I'm greatly concerned about both those games. Not right now today. They're worried about practice today. But when the time comes, those things aren't even close to gimmies. There's no question right now in my mind they can go either way. Maybe Arizona, it's not going to change. When we get to game week, I'm still going to think the same thing I have today, unless they've had some massive
injury.
Camp injuries.
Game 1 isn't going to tell us that much. I get that.
TCU will have a much better feel for both sides. But right now, yeah, that Arizona game, it's not like I'm petrified, but these guys have been pointing to this game. Talked to the Arizona guys in Texas. They were talking about it, Fafita. And then I substituted, Ben is out, so I did some work with Jake yesterday. And he said when I deserted him because I had to go to the airport, and then they had Brett Brennan on, the Arizona coach, and he was talking about that game. And obviously he's talking to a Utah audience, and he knows the audience, and he's got media savvy. So that's, one of the reasons why he's bringing it up. I told Jake that actually the reason why I left because of my deep concern and love for my audience, because I had to get back. I don't take days off. No days off. So I had to get back to do the show the next day. So that's why I left. And they bought, for whatever reason, that second day, they brought coaches after 3 o'clock. And that was, Brennan was one of them. And he's talking about that game. So, and Fafita's got family, tons of family, he said, that live in Utah. Sort of makes sense. He's a Polynesian guy from Southern California. There's thousands upon thousands of those folks who live up here now. And so they're looking to settle a score for sure, because they got a lot of returning guys. So does BYU. And Arizona, absolutely. They had a really good season last year, and they believe they let that game get away. And you can see why they think that. So that, to me, that game is a toss-up. And right now, I think TCU would be a toss-up. Now, we'll have more thought on that as we get to that game week. But, yeah, I think that's a real difficult schedule for them. The 2 out of the first 4? Yeah, for sure. And then obviously Notre Dame might be the best team that they play all year.
I put it up on Twitter. You can go vote. When will BYU lose for the first time versus Arizona in Game 2, at TCU Game 4 versus Notre Dame Game 6, or other? Get something else. You can drop a comment and explain.
If they roll out of that 6-0, Katie bar the door. Good night, Irene. Lay down, Sally. Won't you rest me in your arms? Yes. I'm choosing BYU, you can tell. Drinking Jack all by myself.
Let the lyrics roll.
And the good times, for that matter.
Well, that would be good times.
I go to your era.
Got an undefeated team rolling through
7-0?
September and October.
I'm freaking hire Kalani at USC right then and there.
He did what USC won't. He played Notre Dame and he beat them.
Yes.
You can't.
They're 7-0. That's the best stretch they've had in program history.
We'll get Larry the Laker out of Mom's basement and say, go talk to all your USC neighbors. What are they saying, Lair?
That would be phenomenally incredible. Not just incredible, but phenomenally incredible.
Would you like to put another
Yes.
qualifier in front of that?
And deservedly so, and I'm still understating it.
Unbelievably.
Yeah. I don't see how you can argue. And it's fun to have hyperbole. I get that. We're messing around here. But there's a lot of truth to that, man. If they roll out 7-0, beating basically a 4-year starter quarterback in Arizona and going down to TCU and then beating Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame, who's
you can say, Arizona, TCU. Okay, but then it's punctuated by Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame's number 5 in the coach's preseason poll.
You can't say,
we'll get the media
Notre
poll.
Dame.
Right. No,
I don't want to hear it.
They beat number 5 Notre Dame.
Yeah. And BYU, outside of the Miami win, has always had a yeah, but. Well, there'll be no yeah, buts. They only have the media and the public, non-BYU, of course, have only given them one non-yeah, but win in their entire program history.
Kansas State, Cotton Bowl.
No.
Not even that.
I mean, good for Kansas State, but it's Kansas State.
They were a top 10 team.
And they were, but they don't Nobody views Kansas State.
In the history of football,
Yeah.
it doesn't carry. You're right. And the Oklahoma and Texas, well, Texas did down. And
Yeah,
Oklahoma's
but.
quarterback was
but.
hurt. They beat Michigan. Michigan was a 500 team that year. Here's
Right.
all the
A
buts
bunch of
getting
yeah
run
buts.
out. Yeah.
They've only got one non-yeah but. Now, I think they've got more than that, but that's what the
Penn
perception
State.
is.
What about the Penn State win? Ah.
No.
Just hit him with a guttural noise. Not in
Yeah,
real
but.
argument. Ah.
I don't even know what the yeah but was, but if I go back and research and that you live in the past so you can do that, I don't want to do that. And here, the Notre Dame will be the second one if they should get it.
What about Wisconsin and Michigan State? You were at those games.
Yeah, I think
Michigan State
had a
unraveled
losing
that year.
record.
They unraveled that year.
And I think Wisconsin went 7-5. It was a phenomenal game.
Nebraska on the Hail Mary at the goal line.
Yeah, Nebraska sucks since Tom Osborne. Those are all thrilling, awesome wins for sure.
Name
yeah.
programs, but
They were great wins. Yeah, really, any power 4, 5, whatever you want, 5 then, 4 now. Those are all good wins, no doubt about it. And especially you can't control. You schedule the game. It's up to the other team to be good, and it's up to the other team to be good after you beat them. And then it's not BYU's fault, but that's the perception out there. A bunch of yeah buts, and they start 7-0. Wow, that's the best run they would have had in a regular season program history.
7-0 with a win over number 5, or maybe by then even better than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would think TCU and Arizona would have representative seasons.
TCU's got a good chance at that point of being 4-0. I mean, you're right. Just so you get to see 4 games, so you have a few more thoughts. You'll know at least how they're winning. This is what they do real well. There aren't a lot of marquee games: North Carolina, Grambling, Arkansas State, and UCF.
Well,
But
North
nonetheless-
Carolina will be a notable game for the Belichicks
Yep.
and his 14-year-old girlfriend, and the fact that it's in Ireland.
Mm-hmm. 10 a.m. ESPN, the whole country will get to watch it, and the Belichick factor puts some eyeballs on it. Plus, it'll be the only game on.
Yeah, and I always watch it because I like the sights and sounds of Ireland, my grandfather's homeland. And I've never been there. Interestingly enough, my daughter's been there, but I haven't been there. And my niece took her. My niece, who turns 49 in next week. Obviously, my older sister. And so I like the sights and sounds. I'll be watching that game. It was the Kansas's battle last year with the 2 Kansas schools.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch that, and I'll be watching it. I already got that day planned, man. I go to the gym, come home.
10 a.m. kickoff.
It's
Have
too
a little
early for
lunch,
nachos.
Watch the game.
Maybe second half. But yeah, absolutely. So get a read on, and I'll be pulling for the Big 12. Nothing against Belichick. I have no feeling for him. I'm neutral either way. But I want the Big 12 to have success in these non-conference games so they can get a second team in and then hopefully have success in there and then build from there. And with that in mind, the Cougars have this opportunity to just really shock the world. Especially after, the double-digit wins. And, I mean, a big thing was Notre Dame last year not getting in the playoff, that's for sure. But I think BYU was a side story to that. They were mentioned. So 2 years ago, they weren't mentioned at all, which I don't understand. Last year, they were mentioned. They had honorable mention last year. Now, this year, they could get voted in.
Well, the storyline, if and when they get a third loss, the storyline changes. But until then, whether you're talking about the game, you're on the broadcast, you're writing whatever, they've had a couple of 2-loss teams that didn't get in. They've got 0 losses this year. They got 1 loss. They got 2. And here they are in the same situation or in a better situation. Are they going to get in this time?
Right.
So that storyline is,
I think
as it gets repeated, it just keeps building.
It builds. It snowballs.
It'll be 2.5 seasons into that storyline when they play Notre Dame.
Right. And if they should knock off the Irish, I think I might storm the field.
I don't really see that. You will not storm the field.
It's worth it.
First off, the media goes down with like 4 minutes left. So
Right.
you're standing there, with some assistant athletic director who you knew
Right,
since
so
they
I'd
were-
already be there. The opportunity would be there. That's exactly.
He's going to be feet away
just
from
raise
getting...
the arms and just start
Right.
running out to this field and bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
Go find. Everyone else will be running Bear Bachmeyer, but now after a couple of interviews, one of which you'll hear later today, go to Tiger. You'll go to Tiger.
I would be happy, extremely happy for the Cougar people. Yeah, no doubt about it.
You would be actually over in the corner because you would be on the field, and they probably would storm the field as they have after other big wins at home. So you'd probably be heading to the tunnel to be out of the way so you get run over as people come flying out onto the field, not paying attention.
Nah, maybe security and drop a couple people, help them out.
What you really want, and this is
Clotheslining folks as
this
they're
is where
going
your
by.
long relationship with Brian Santiago, knowing him when he was working in the corner of Steve Cleveland's office when he first came to the campus.
Those are facts.
Yeah. You'd go to Brian and say, okay, Brian, here's my dream scenario. You beat Notre Dame to remain undefeated. I'll work with security to keep the field clear. And what I want is 2004 Fiesta Bowl style security. Can you put up a chain link fence? I'll grab a taser and it's game on.
Well,
Throwing people back over the fence, that was your favorite.
Oh, that was something. Yeah, that was watching. Guys, there's actually they made a book. I wrote the introduction for it. They made a book on it, and it's like a picture book, and it's got a little bit of copy.
Did the Trib do this with all the photographers at the game?
I think they did, yeah. And so I wrote the intro and the front cover, blah, blah, blah. And there's a picture of guys trying to get off get on the field from the north end zone. And they did have a fence. And security is like setting them back up. It reminded
Like volleyball.
Me, yeah. And then somebody would come in for the spike. These Ute fans, they stormed the field at the drop of a hat. I mean, they lead the country in single storming for one game with 3. No one will ever top that.
That's the all-time record.
Yeah. So, and that year was a massive storming. When they beat BYU to go, and they were ready to go and all that, and so they were thinking they can get. They set up the stage probably close to midfield, but the Tempe people, they were determined that was not going to happen, which didn't seem like that was a stormable game. Because you kicked the crap out of Pittsburgh. It was a foregone conclusion, and then you did it.
Yeah.
They were like a 4-loss team or something. There was some thing that said they had to go out of the now defunct football Big East. Yeah. So I didn't see why you'd want to storm on that one. That didn't make any sense to me. The game was decided way early. It was not a last seconder like some of these things that you had, or an overtime, what have you, in the way that BYU Utah have had so many of those games that really come down to the end and emotions are peaked at that point. I mean, most of the Ute fans should have been long sauced, and it shouldn't have been a big deal. They should have hustled over to Mill Avenue and got a couple last calls.
Mill Avenue. Local knowledge.
I think most of the folks know Mill Avenue.
Yeah.
It's walkable from the stadium.
Okay, early votes were way early, but the vote right now seems split between Arizona and Notre Dame, 35% each. 21 for other and 7% for TCU.
I know there's a high percentage of Ute fans that know about Mill Avenue because they spent a lot of time there. Because that was the Christmas week, obviously. That was one of the most fun weeks I'd ever had.
So you don't have to fly in the day before the game or morning of like a regular season game. It's the holidays, and you get to go down there. Is that the whole commercial district?
It's just a bar district.
Okay. It's not even like restaurants or
yeah.
shops and stores or stuff.
But not really
not stores.
More
just eating and drinking.
Establishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were so many people. I was doing the morning show with you from the hotel, the media, and then doing the afternoon show with Gordon at a sports bar, McDuffie's, which isn't there anymore. And so many people were saying they were driving, and they were saying that they listened to us in the morning.
And then showed up, saw you, and then, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just,
yeah.
It was the greatest week to date for Utah. Obviously, the Rose Bowl, certainly the first time, would be right up there. But the thing about it, it was so concentrated. Mm-hmm. You don't even have that now because the Fiesta Bowl is played in the Cardinal Stadium, which is way on the west side,
right.
And it's spread out. It's like
the
Rose Bowl was spread out.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
Everybody was concentrated. And if you went to Scottsdale, well, Scottsdale's the old town Scottsdale is like 3-4 miles away, not 25. Rose Bowl, people were spread out I mean, the massive amount of acreage there.
It's just,
And I was there that whole week too, and there wasn't that gathering. There was that gathering for the parade.
But that was really the first time.
Yeah,
because it's L.A. and everybody's all over the place.
Right, and you got relatives that live down in Orange County, live who knows where, Riverside, blah, 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 blah. Of course, San Bernardino. We know there's at least one former Ute in San Bernardino.
San Bernardino.
So you had that going on.
But some people are staying in Pasadena, but some people are staying by the airport.
And then you got
how you hanging on? Where are you?
I'm in San Bernardino right now.
We got the conclusive proof. Like we hung with the Monsons the whole time, and we went, I took them down to South Bay, and New Year's Eve day, we were hanging around Hermosa, which, got tons of shops. I mean, that's a big entertainment area. And there was hundreds of Ute fans coming up and talk to us. Hundreds, literally. So they were all over the place. Whereas in Tempe and Scottsdale, man, you couldn't go 5 feet, and it was so cool.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is tickets, because Pitt was so, slightly above average and so far away.
And their coach
whatever.
was leaving.
The coach was leaving. Yeah. They're just not going to travel that many people. Whereas Ohio State, who has a gazillion alumni everywhere, they get 50,000 tickets to Fiesta Bowl. You're not getting 50,000 tickets to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State's going to gobble up too many of them. Right. Plus, the Rose Bowl is such an event that people just go to it. So you're not getting 50,000 people in.
So that was I couldn't have had a better time that entire week.
So when do you think Utah loses for the first time? For BYU, it's Arizona, TCU, or Notre Dame, right? Games 2, 4, 6 seem like the biggest threats, stopping them from getting to 8-0 in Utah. We got other up. Maybe that is where you think it'll happen. So you can drop your comments. For Utah.
I'll tell you when we come back.
Oh, stay with us, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.